All right, has anyone noticed this trend among some of our government experts lately? It starts off with them telling you a thing. If you question the thing, you will be mocked, ridiculed, and potentially censored. It then turns out later that the thing that they told you wasn't quite as true as they promised you it would be. And when you point this out, they revert to telling you that, well, they never told you the thing that they told you. And then when you show them incontrovertible proof that they did in fact tell you the thing that they told you, they just suggest that you should be mocked, ridiculed, and potentially censored. I can't imagine why we don't trust these guys.
If you're so confused and disoriented that you don't know where you are or where you're going, there are predators of the spirit who are much worse than snakes that are waiting in wait for you. And the probability that you'll move from aimless, hopeless, joyless anxiety to nihilism, corrosive bitterness, and genocidal fantasy in the fundamental extreme is very high. And so that's possession by a predator of the spirit in the desert of the soul. And that's real.
Honey, someone's going to the house. Someone's going to the house. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do?
Who are you call the pops? I'm gonna call the pops.
We're recording you.
No. It's okay. I'm just your neighbor. Coming by to say howdy.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, we're not used to people stopping by to say howdy without assaulting us first, robbing us, or defecating on our lawn.
Sometimes all three.
The trifecta. We're from Los Angeles.
Just moved to Texas.
I figured.
Oh, the California plates?
Well, yeah, and the masks. Inside your own house. No one else around. 2022.
We just want to be extra safe.
We feel naked without masks.
We'll probably wear them for the rest of our lives.
We'll be buried in them.
Okay. Well, you seem like a lovely couple. Like I said, I just wanted to drop by and welcome you to the neighborhood.
Why? Do you want something?
Oh, no. I think he's being friendly. People around here are friendly, like we've seen in the movies, right?
I thought that was just make-believe, like superheroes or families that go to church.
No, that's a myth. This is real life.
So, I live in that house over yonder. Name's Kevin.
Hi, Kevin. I'm Tiffany, she, her.
And I'm Steve, he, him.
What are your pronouns?
I don't believe in pronouns. I think they're reductive. In fact, just your asking about it is a microaggression.
Oh my gosh, I am so sorry. I didn't mean to.
No, it's okay. I'm just messing with you. I like all pronouns. My favorite is you.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Exactly. So, if you need anything, just holler. My wife and I'd be happy to help.
Baby, he has a gun.
I'm calling the cops.
I'm recording you.
No.
Recording
It's
you.
okay.
Good morning. I'm here to give you an update on the FBI's investigation of Secretary Clinton. What I want to do is tell you what we're recommending. But first, let me tell you what we found. 110 emails in 52 email chains have been determined to contain classified information.
What difference at this point does it make?
8 of those chains are top secret, 36 of those chains secret, and 8 contain confidential information.
What difference at this point does it make?
Everything I did was permitted. There was no law, no regulation.
Secretary Clinton should have known that an unclassified system was no place for that conversation.
I did not email any classified material to anyone on my email.
None of these emails should have been on any kind of classified system, not even Gmail.
Well, first of all, nothing was marked classified.
To the contrary,
Nothing was marked classified.
there is evidence of a
Nothing was
tremendous
marked,
amount.
nothing was marked classified.
Now let me tell you what we found.
Oh my gosh.
110 emails.
It was not the best choice.
52 email chains.
It was a mistake.
Have been determined to contain classified information.
What difference at this point does it
8
make?
of those chains are top
It wasn't the best choice.
36 of those chains
I said it was a mistake.
8 contain confidential information.
What difference at this point does it
With
make?
respect to our recommendation, this is going to be an unusual statement in at least a couple of ways. Although there is evidence, our judgment is that no reasonable prosecutor would bring such a case. I know there will be intense public debate. I know there will be intense public debate. I know there will be intense public debate. Public debate. What difference at this point does it make? 110 emails.
It wasn't the best choice.
52 email chains.
I made a mistake.
Have been determined to contain classified information. What difference at this point does it make? 8 of those chains are
It was not a good choice.
6 of those chains
I said it was a mistake.
and 8 contain confidential information. What difference at this point does it make?
Hey y'all, trying to get the damn link to show up top. Let's see. There's supposed to be a way to drop a link. Hold on just a second. There it is. Here's a link. Let me. Everybody doing all right tonight? Digging around at some stuff. Just realized they're calling for rain again tomorrow. It's just so happy. Hey, Mary. Hey, Vicky. Hey, Grace. Hey, Camo. Hey, Bonnie. Let's see. Hey, Guard. Hey, Ben. Hey, Shifty. Hey, Meat. Hey, Willard. Hey, Kentucky Survival. Let's see. I think I covered everybody. What's going on?
What's up?
You doing all right?
You sound a little rough.
I'm far off from the mic. Let me move it. Is that better?
I didn't mean your audio. I meant you said tired or something.
Nah, it's just one of them days. Talked to Bonnie earlier, and she's asked me what's up like too about it. Like, I guess I'm putting out a weird aura. I guess feel things, weird things, or don't feel nothing. I'm not really sure.
It's in your drawl, brother. You can hear the extra in your drawl.
I need a bad day of fishing or a good day of fishing or whatever day of fishing.
I didn't know there was such a thing as a day of fishing.
That's when you're only catching the little ones. Me, I don't even mind not catching anything. I don't mind not catching anything as long as I'm not the only one catching anything. But I'm usually the one that can stick a cigarette butt on there and catch a fish in a puddle.
Yeah, I'm like that too, but I'll just sit on the dock on the boat if that's all I got. Hey, Regina, Mary Freeland, Andy S.
I usually get out. Usually when we go, I'll get out there and I'll get a spot and put my youngest in there and put Vicky in there, or anybody else is in there. I'll start catching in certain spots and I'll show them where to cast. Then I move away from everybody. If I'm on a pier or a bank or something, now if I'm in a boat, I try to arrange everybody in corners or something, or Hell yeah.
I used to be a little territorial. When I lived on the lane, some fast boat roll up by a swim dock or I could be in the middle of anything. You bet your ass I'm going to be doing a cannonball up there close. But I could. I used to be pretty territorial.
Yeah, you're roboting big time. You might pop in or out or move around the room or something.
How about if I dance? Does that help?
You came in good there.
Well, I got to keep dancing then. Dang it.
You got to hit that one knee jump squat thing the Russian stuff do.
Yeah. You know, I'm just going to throw this out here while I got audio and you can hear me. But I'm willing to bet they're not going to arrest him.
You don't think they are?
I don't think they are.
I think it's a big shuck and jive, but if they do, then they got to have to, because they got permanent Secret Service, so they got to do something with them too.
Well, that's, I mean, not to mention they've been trying to get him for the last 7 years and failed. It seems pretty desperate. But, I mean, he's like in the way. So the only reason they want to sequester him is to get him out of the way. And I don't think they care how they do it, which in my eyes puts his life in danger. You know, you look at things like, you know, Epstein, whatever. I don't think they're going to let that happen.
They can't come with anything else. I think they're going to go after him for like taxes or something.
Well, they done tried that too. I mean, it's a bunch of hogwash, and I just don't think I don't think they're going to be able to pull it off. That's all.
It's more April Fool's shit, maybe.
Maybe so. Maybe, you know, the time he was kind of weird on that one. They stand alone.
Hey, Stans. There's still all this stuff about Nashville.
We got somebody new. Corn Patch, keeping the faith. Howdy, how are you?
Hey, bro.
I've never seen her.
Hey, Mary.
What's up, fella?
They're still doing about this shooter, and it's ridiculous. Now they're bitching about what pronouns are using for that, whatever. And it best pronoun now is was.
I saw that then. They. Do you see that? They never speak of it.
It, that, and is was.
Hey, Mary Brewer. I knew a Mary Brewer here in Michigan a long time ago.
Hey, Mary.
Vicky says I'm not dancing enough. What difference at this point does it make?
Yeah, I get you dancing around.
That one makes me boogie, man. I don't know.
Hey,
can't help it.
Bonnie, the link's out there unless you need me to send it a different way. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Oh, it links out there.
She got shared that too.
Yeah, I want to put some videos up or something to watch, but hey, Jim, link's out there, bud, if you want to pop up and just talk.
What's up, Jim?
Hey, Double Aught.
Double Aught, but
yeah, I went and got a battery for the mower earlier, and because I ain't been able to cut yet, and we've had all this rain coming through here. I might end up
little tiny batteries.
Yeah, I might end up needing a damn bush hog if I keep going. I should have put it in there and jumped on it earlier and didn't.
I'm curious, what are those up to, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I got the biggest one I could find. It was a 350 cranking amp. It was like $60. The other one's like 30, 35.
I never buy the cheapies, man. I never do either. I always buy them really good ones. I just know somebody's going to need a battery for their mower this year. That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, Vicky, I was saying that shit's damn crazy. What are they supposed to do? And then everybody wants to blame guns. You don't blame a tool for a crazed person. Hey, Pappy.
Pappy, Two Bears, good to see you. Every once in a while, Pappy will come up on a panel. What's up, Brian?
Let's see if I got anything I can throw out there that I can get away with.
So, we've had hardly any air traffic here the last few weeks. All of a sudden today, I'm hearing helicopters and all kinds of stuff. Oh, right on, Pappy. I know that. Know that feeling. I never did get a mounting camera for my computer, Pappy. I've always gone on panels on my phone. I didn't want a camera on my damn computer for 15 years or something.
Hey, Jim.
Hey, Chuck. Hey, Carl.
What's up, Mr. Boss? Are they calling you the boss now, like Charlie's Angels? Is that what I heard?
Well, actually, in Charlie's Angels, it was Mr. Bosley, not Mr. Boswell. I don't have the heart to tell 10 off to tell her.
I know the difference, but I heard something about boss, so I was like, all right, it's shorter. I don't have to type as much. But so is Jim.
I hear an echo. I'm trying to adjust something here. I don't think Trump's really going to be arrested. I think Braggs is eventually going to be disbarred over this. What if Trump gets arrested, he ought to call Stormy Daniels as his witness, because I still think it was Michael Cohen that had the affair.
Oh man, they just brought Karen McDougal into this one now. I just saw her in the news. Something about payments to the Playboy Playmate. They're reaching, Jim. They're reaching hard. And they don't have valid reasons to act this way. Yeah, it's going to backfire in their face. At least I hope it does.
It's desperation. Okay, in a court trial, they have to have exhibits, which is the evidence. What exhibits have been entered? None. It's just basically testimony.
Gosh, I hope it's not naked pictures of Stormy. If they do, that's nasty.
But they have no concrete exhibits. It's a he said, she said situation. You figure Paul Young, the former DA of the Southern District of Manhattan, chose not to indict because of lack of evidence.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, Jim. I mean, I don't see the valid reasons to be this way other than he's in their way.
Mm-hmm. Well, I found over on One-on-One show, I found a bunch of other drops that pertain to this, but the panel was so busy, I guess they just didn't get a chance to read the stuff. Because there was no drops for
it. Kind of feels like you're trying to take action. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You're pinging out again. It's like ding, ding.
Yeah, I can barely understand them.
Yeah, the Stormy Daniels.
I don't know what's going on.
Stormy Daniels thing, I don't think there was no sleeping involved anyway, but hell, if any money did get paid to anybody about anything, hey, Bush, I'm thinking any money that was transferred was by somebody else that he probably didn't even know about. And then if anything, that they're going to try to get him for a cover up or something that he didn't do. And it's just stupid.
They don't have anything. Figure there's so much exculpatory evidence. Braggs, I'm telling you, is going to be disbarred over this eventually. Even if Trump gets convicted, it'll be overturned in appeal. But how long will this drag on is the question.
I'm trying to figure out too, if they did do something, how could they legally separate his Secret Service from him?
What if the Secret Service won't let him be taken into custody? But then if he gets arrested, this will set a legal precedent. It's set a legal precedent already, the fact that a former president was indicted.
Yeah, what about executive privilege?
That doesn't have anything to do with the Stormy Daniels case, though.
No, but it would seem that there would be something in place to protect even an ex-president from a how should I say, a fraudulent arrest.
Yeah, they're trying to turn something in. If you just give somebody a tip to tell them to shut up, I don't think there's nothing illegal about that. But now if they try to make a conspiracy out of it and it's saying something's been covered up, I think that's sort of borderlines maybe a crime, but only way they
Jerry,
I'll
just say hello to Jerry. I thought you quit. Now to say hello to Bush.
It wouldn't surprise me if an attempt is made on his life.
All right, now I'm curious what the heck it's all in about, Jim. Hold up your arm, flex like you're gonna make a muscle. I want to see what's going on here. Why is he infatuated with your physique?
I'm 62 and I still work out a lot.
Oh, me too. I mean, there you go. Yeah, you got some guns, brother. We're gonna have to arm wrestle someday.
Like, it's better to see it from the other direction.
Now I understand. Frog saw something before I didn't. Yep. We ever meet, Jim, we're arm wrestling. You know that, right?
No. I haven't arm wrestled since I was a teenager.
Last guy I arm wrestled with Jeff Riddle.
That's right.
You guys are in the same part of the country, so.
That's why I put this up there earlier. Reminder: a deadly pandemic doesn't require 24/7 advertising to remind you that it exists. It does need marketing campaigns and endless propaganda to keep you living in fear, but psychological operations do. Which everything they do is some kind of bullshit psyop. So.
I feel that one. Boy, I feel that. That's why I think it's going to happen. It's part of the reason why I don't even, I mean, if a balloon flies over the country, I'm not going to pay that much attention to it. It all feels, I don't know, it all feels like hoopla.
I didn't
know. Good word for that.
I didn't know Frog was a weightlifter.
I believe it.
How old is Frog?
Hey, Sweet Tea, David N.
Hey, T girl.
Hey, David. Hey, T.
Yeah, you know what I tell him, Jim? I'm not very smart, but I can lift heavy things.
You're a pretty smart guy, Carl.
Thanks, Jim. But get you out of get you out of things. I try to think as little as possible.
When people think you don't know any better, you can see how they truly are.
Boy, ain't that the truth.
Well, we all know that there's going to be unrest, and it's not going to be the Trump supporters.
Wow, Frog, you're way younger. Make me feel old, man.
I got 24 years on him. Actually, I've been lifting weights longer than Frog's been alive.
Hey, man, a burlap bag full of tree is not a lightweight deal.
Well, I only sell Christmas trees. I used to sell trees dug up with a ball of dirt. It's not worth it because you can't get good topsoil to fill in the holes. And a ton of topsoil costs about $30 around here. That's to get 10 tons delivered.
That's a big ouch.
It's not worth it losing the soil.
I was always that guy that had to take 16 penny nails and pin the burlap on the ball because not everybody can do that part, you know. Now they got gizmos and they use hog ringers and all that, but back in the day, they used to use just nails to pin the back burlap tight.
Yeah, most people use a tree spade and put them in wire baskets.
Yeah, that looks a lot easier from what we used to do.
Yeah, but you got a machine like that, you're talking $40,000 to $60,000.
Yeah, we're a tree guy.
Here's something for y'all. The four of them got in common right there: 10 wars, millions killed, 1 Nobel Peace Prize, and 0 indictments. Both Bushes, Obama, and Clinton.
Yeah, Grace is right about the earthquakes.
There's a movie called Wag the Dog, isn't there? That's one of the ones I keep forgetting to go watch. What Pat just said. Pat just mentioned something. There's a movie out there called Wag the Dog, right?
Wag the Dog, yeah. I never saw it though.
Yeah. I saw it. It's messed up. Grace too, and they've been cranking up CERN, and they got all these weird weather. Like tomorrow, we're getting hit by a storm, and what I'm seeing, they're trying to expand the one that's over Missouri and the Midwest. I guess they're trying to bring it this way. Normally, the storms run from here either west to east or some kind of west to northeast or what have you, and there's nothing coming from the bottom. It's all coming from the middle, so they're playing.
Well, Chuck, we're supposed to get thunderstorms here in PA like Saturday, and there could be like really heavy winds.
It was cold last night. Tonight it's warm and rainy.
It's cold here, Coral. Actually, the high today was in the mid 40s.
Yeah, well, that's kind of warm for me, though. I like the 40s and 50s. That's like t-shirt weather nowadays.
Yeah, but it was windy too. So, tomorrow it's supposed to be 60.
We'll do it. And what are you on the east or west side of PA?
I'm 25 miles northwest of Philly and about 30 miles south of Reading and Allentown.
You're on the western side then.
No, it's eastern Pennsylvania. It's southeast.
Oh, all right. You're a good distance away. You know that Highway 80 that runs that whole state?
80?
Yeah.
Yeah, that goes north.
That is the longest highway a man could ever walk. It seems to go on forever.
I think that goes into upstate New York too.
It does. I just remember walking that highway years and years ago, and it seemed like everything kept repeating itself every 30, 40 miles or something. It was ridiculous.
Well, there's a place on 80 where in New York State, you're up on top of the hill and you get a tremendous view where you can see the Catskill Mountains.
Now that's the good part of it, but that western side is pretty boring.
Well, I'm glad you found it, Stephanie. Welcome.
Hello,
Hey,
Chuck,
Stephanie.
Carl,
Hey,
Mr.
Bonnie.
Boswell.
What's up, Bonnie?
Not much. You're roboting pretty good there.
I'm trying to keep dancing. I'm just getting tired. Hey, Brew.
Hey, Brew. Carl, stop squatting down and jumping on one foot.
Yeah, that's what I said yesterday. I shoved a coat hanger into my phone, wrapped it in tinfoil, and was standing on one foot on the roof.
Yeah. Makes me think of the Andy Griffith movie way back, No Time for Sergeants, when he was beating on the side of that radio and spitting in it. Say, hello. Remember that old movie?
Oh, wow. I can't remember the name of it.
No Time for Sergeants. I think it had him and Don Knotts in it, but that was way back, probably
Black
late.
and white, right? Black and white, right?
Yep. That was like from the late 50s, early 60s. Before Andy Griffith, the Andy Griffith Show.
Ooh. It's hot here. I can't believe people are still freezing.
Yeah, my heat's on right now, Bonnie.
My air conditioner is.
You got really? It's that hot where you are in Texas?
Yes.
It's 70 something.
I've heard that too, Kraft, somewhere a while ago, a couple of years ago. I heard something about that. But have they? I mean, how many ex-presidents have they arrested, and has there ever been anything like that put in place?
Well,
I just don't know. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You figure Trump's attorneys are the first thing they're gonna do is try to get this case dismissed because the statute of limitations ran out. And, if the judge doesn't allow that, it leads me to believe the judge is just as bad as Braggs.
Isn't there a story about Jefferson Davidson being caught and he tried to escape in a dress and they caught him? Then a bunch of gold came up missing.
Yeah, they've already tried to get him for trumped up Trump charges. That damn DA in New York. Well, that sounded good. Trumped up Trump charges.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. It's my understanding that this already went to court once, and she had to pay him $350,000 or something like that. So
that was different, though, Barney. He sued her for libel, defamation of character.
Right, but that was in 16.
Well, I forget the year, but that was a civil matter.
Oh, okay.
You figure criminal and civil is different. And it's like, even if they can't use the excuse, Trump's attorneys, that other people have done stuff and haven't been indicted. And unfortunately, I've been in lawsuits with my business.
I'm running to the bathroom real quick, y'all. I'll be right back.
I know just a little about how stuff works. You figure they should do interrogatories with Trump, and this is where Trump's could get them, in introducing documents in his defense. The proper term is interrogatories and production of documents. That's how of evidence are entered in a court of law.
Like discovery.
Well, that's what it is, Carl.
But the case is adultery. Is that correct?
No, it's that he used campaign money to pay as hush money, and it wasn't campaign money that was even used.
So it's about the money.
Yeah, it's about the money.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, Larry, that could be a meme. That's pretty good. I like that one. And yes, actually, Spotted Rabbits, the world is bipolar.
Much so. Hey, Andy.
Hey, Andy, it's good to see you.
Benjamin.
And Andy ain't see me because I ain't had no internet service and all kinds of issues.
Rabbits.
Well, it's pretty obvious things just are going to escalate now, big time.
That's what I feel. I mean, but I don't think it's going to be an arrest. I don't see it happen. I mean, I can see if it did happen, there's going to be a whole lot of pissed off people. Maybe that's what they're going for.
Yeah, it's going to piss off the Kool-Aid drinkers, but it's in the end, what if he goes to jail, he cannot run for president. Is that the end goal here?
Well, if he has a felony record, he can run for president. You figure when they arraign a person, what they do is they fingerprint them and they take their photograph.
And so paying someone hush money is a felony?
If they took it out of campaign finances, and they didn't, Michael Cohen borrowed money to pay Stormy Daniels, and he told Trump that Stormy Daniels was basically blackmailing him. And he just, later, the Trump people, his accountants, reimbursed Michael Cohen.
And Michael Cohen is a convicted felon himself and a perjurist. So, believing anything that man says is pretty stupid. He's already out there. I saw a report. He's proud of this. He thinks there's not going to happen.
And you figure all this stuff Michael Cohen got indicted for had nothing to do with him working for Trump. It had to do with all his other business activities. It had to do, I think, with a taxi cab company. I mean, Michael Cohen is what does the liberal do? They blame their problems on everybody else. They don't take responsibility for their actions.
True. Grace, you be careful.
What's Grace doing?
I don't know if you guys heard it, but there's sound like under fire gunshots out here.
No, I didn't hear it. I thought you were in a safe place, Chuck.
I am. I got guns all around me. It's about as safe as you can be.
Could it be coyotes or something?
I don't think they got guns here yet.
Yeah, Grace is one of the nice people I'm always concerned about. Because
yes, she's in New York City.
Yeah,
I meant real coyotes, Chuck. We got pulling out up here. People shoot them all the time of the night.
Hey, we have real coyotes here.
Yeah, all right. I'm stepping in it. I see that already.
Right to bear arms, not arm bear dog.
Wait a minute. Both you say that again, but not at the same time.
Coyotes are usually nocturnal.
Oh, see, you did it again.
Hey, Chuck, I subscribed to your channel today. Because you changed your name so many times, I have trouble finding it.
Yeah, that's why I added the Chuck to it, because everybody's like, who are you? I'm like, there was somebody else on here giving grief to different ones, and they took the Texas and the views and thought I was somebody else. And I'm like, I'm not that person.
You're my favorite psycho belly. Hey, Agent Jay's here.
Hey,
what's up, Jay?
I wonder if Agent Jay wants to come up for a little.
Yeah, it's out there. Link, or I'll drop it if he wants.
And I'll be curious to see what's going to happen to the stock market.
I'm thinking Bitcoin's going to take another dump.
I was going to say, I think it's more about the money than that money. We've got the first coming up, and
Link's out there. Anybody wants to chat and behave. Bonnie, check. I've heard too that disability, Social Security, and SSI are all supposed to come before the first or something, unless that was more. But it was on I forget where it was exactly. I've seen it. It was reputable, sort of.
that might be this month, that I would look into next month. The bills that they're trying to pass, I just keep reading them, and I'm just like, there's more here than we're being told.
Look at it like this, though. The world currency for hundreds of years, I forget what it is in Spain, used to be the currency. Then in 1850, it became the British pound. Then in 1920, the world currency was the Federal Reserve note. And now it's going to be the end. Whoever runs the world has the top currency.
Yeah, whoever.
Other countries stop. I said it last night on 10 show. If other companies stop taking the U.S. dollar, we're not going to be bringing all this stuff in from China or Europe or from Central or South America or other countries in Asia. One good thing that could happen is it could cause the United States to start producing stuff again.
Yeah, we gave it all to China and let trying to give them a handout, and look what it did.
Yeah, put restrictions on being able to get any kind of resource from under our feet. You know, made it to where they have to pay so many things off to create something here. It's not worthwhile, so they'll do it somewhere else, make it cheaper somewhere else. This was all by design. I'm sure this was all engineered. Started years ago. It was obvious.
You figure a lot of it has to do too with the EPA. I don't know much about the stuff made in China, but India is probably like number 2 behind China for making tractors. People don't realize in India they still have an agriculture-based society, big time. And
I think the world has an environmental protection agency, Jim. How many places in the world have one?
Well, West native countries do, besides the U.S.
Because last I heard, most countries can do whatever the heck they want without having to worry about an EPA.
Well, you figure in Western Europe, it's as bad, if not worse, than it is over here.
Yeah.
I can give you examples. Okay, the old Kohler iron block gas engines and the old Wisconsin engines. Well, the Wisconsin Engine Company went out of business because they made the best small 1 and 2 cylinder engines for agriculture.
Gosh, I remember them well. I've seen them all the time still.
The thing is, the most you can do is basically keep rebuilding. I mean, there's companies that make the pistons and rings for those things. Because I've said on several shows, I have 2 walk-behind Howard rotavators, and I can't find an engine to replace any of them with, because the one is a 2-cylinder Wisconsin engine, and that's like 812 cc.
Find a rebuild kit and get a book and do it yourself. Make sure you got enough to have extras, because you probably won't be able to get it soon.
Well, the big thing is you got to take the block out and take it somewhere to get bored, and that's not my forte, rebuilding engines.
I would likely buy another piece of equipment and take the motor off of that. Wisconsin's are one of the most reliable engines ever made. There's got to be one out there still good that you can get your hands on.
Well, the cost to get the whole thing rebuilt is about $3,000.
Right, but you could buy a whole nother piece of equipment with a good running one on it and just take that motor off it.
Well, actually, the last year they made the Howard rotavators, back in 1985, the company changed hands. Howard's still in business. In 1985,
but does that make the shaft?
What?
Does that make the shaft unique or something? Because they use that Wisconsin on 1,000 pieces of machinery. You wouldn't have to get the same machine if all you were after was the engine.
Well, the thing is, the last year they made this Howard rotavator, 1985, they sold for $7,500.
How did we get to motors when we were talking about money?
Well, the whole world
I'm
economy.
just curious.
Actually, I found engines. There's companies in India that make engines that will work in this thing, but you can't get them in this country. And the funny thing is, over in India, they make smaller Kubotas than you can get over here. They still make like 2-cylinder, 12 horsepower Kubotas that people in India use with diesel engines.
Well, okay, Vicky, back to you. Do you really trust McCarthy that much? And so my question is, a lot of us that are living on disability or Social Security, retirement, whatever, I remember hearing Biden over a year ago saying he was going to stop Social Security and Medicare. I don't know if any of y'all remember that, but I sure do, because that's something that I pay attention to. And then
I hear an echo in chat.
this
Bonnie,
year,
that's about 75% of the federal budget.
right, and then
Overtake
this
programs.
year, I have heard him saying that the Republicans are the ones trying to cut Social Security and Medicare. But
Now you're-
my concern is that it's even being mentioned. It's on the block. Does that make sense?
Yep.
My gaydar is going off.
If the government defaults, like Agent J and I think, they're not going to have the money to pay everybody that's on Social Security.
Yes. And so that's a whole lot of people.
Yep.
That's a whole lot of people that family is going to have to be there for, that communities are going to have to be there for, that they're not going to make it.
I've said this
Jeff,
numerous times.
hey Jeff, let me talk real quick. Jeff, Jim's a beast. He's going to be the next one to arm wrestle, but we need him in our foxhole. He's not too far. He's in Pennsylvania.
Oh, Carl, I'm only good with a gun in the dark. Because that's when I shoot deer for crop damage.
He's got some guns on him.
Yeah, with the streamlight on it and the red dot scopes. If somebody was coming after you in the dark and you have a TLR1 streamlight, that's good for 300 feet.
Benjamin, mine's like that too. It's on the 3rd.
Hey, Jeff Riddle. Yeah, I can't type in chat because I'll end up. It's too hard. It's too long. When I'm on StreamYard, if I try to use YouTube, I'll get disconnected. The computer can only handle so much.
You know, when you're on a phone, you can only type in private chat. You can't even type in regular chat.
Actually, I'm thinking of getting a bigger monitor.
A lot of people use two devices. They'll use one to chat and watch the chat, and they'll use the other one to be on a panel or whatever.
Because my wife and I got this mini Mac. It's been like maybe 7 years now.
Hey, Jeff. Hey, Anna.
Absolutely, Vicky. I agree.
You figure, Bonnie, I've said this on so many channels, if the stock market crashes, everyone's retirement funds are going to go downhill.
Yes.
And I was surprised that a lot of stuff was up today in the stock market. But it's not going to last for long.
Well, and that would show us where our Congress stands. If they're getting paid as much money as they are, we know that they can shift money around. We know that they can give up their paychecks if need be, because they have investments all over the place. So if they really care about the American people and our elderly and disabled, and I mean, that goes for veterans too. It's not just the American citizens, it will affect every single American.
It'll affect all these businesses in the country eventually.
Yes.
Well, Joe has said numerous times he's not going to budge. And if the Republicans don't budge, there we go. We're going to have default.
They don't care if we have to spend $100 for a bag of rice. So.
And I think that's what they're going to do too, is keep jacking the prices up so much. I think I heard average $6 a gallon by summer. that even if it continues, it's going to just keep putting us on a strain.
Hey, Sharon.
Well, once the petroleum reserves are gone, and we can't get oil from other countries because they won't take the U.S. dollar, we're going to have to start drilling more oil here.
And I did see where they're trying something's coming up about that. The oil and gas, starting it up again in the United States.
Hey, Vaughn.
Howdy, Sharon, Ronan. Vaughn, Eric, it's good to see you, brother.
Hey, Ronan.
Ronan.
Yeah, Vicky Sorrells, yeah, I know all about that. About him not being the real Joe.
Hey, David. Ronan, I wish you'd come up on my panel.
But we're headed for some pretty tough times, it looks like.
Yeah, and that's where we need to be prepared spiritually, mentally, physically.
Hey, All First Kingdom. Hey, Rabbit.
First Kingdom.
Hey, all four. FTW, Rabbit says.
Yeah, for the win.
Is that what that means? All right. I know.
Hey, Deb.
I even Googled physical therapy at home and exercises and stuff that I can do to get
good to see you, Nancy.
Physically stronger.
What's ailing you, Bonnie?
I'm sorry?
What's ailing you physically that you're trying to improve?
She's making a comeback.
Yes. Muscle mass.
Well, lifting weights. My wife is 58. Well, you can't see it behind me. She uses dumbbells. She'll be up at about 3 a.m. doing exercises for about an hour and a half watching exercise video. She does squats holding dumbbells. You figure the best way to build muscle mass is just using weights. She'll do quadricep extensions with dumbbells like this. And she won't go in the basement where I have the weights.
Jim, you've heard of doing calisthenics using like a broom handle or whatever and using one arm against the other and all that twisting and get
resistance training.
Yeah, it's opposition, using one muscle to work the other.
Resistance, where you can literally do it with just your hands. You can sit there, lock your hands together, pull against each arm, and then push against each arm. Go back and forth, and you can tone muscle just by pushing up against your own hands.
And you can do that with vegetable cans or water jugs, whatever. And the broom handle, putting it behind your neck and going up and down. I mean, like it's across, like you're lifting it, but it's behind your neck. Yes. It still does the same thing with loosening and using those muscles in your back that you don't ordinarily use.
Yeah, you could get dumbbells and do like bent over rowing.
That's why I always like sticks, Bonnie. You know, because you can tone and build muscle and coordination, but sticks also, you know, it's like a calisthenic or something, you know, if you use a staff or nunchucks or something like that. Those were never meant for me to use for fighting. That was more of a workout. That's all that ever was.
Yeah.
Well, Bonnie, you're never too old to start. That's how I look at it.
No, I know that.
Yeah, Agent Jay is saying lift talkers. I started lifting weights when I was 12 or 13 years old.
Yeah, I didn't do it for the I did speed lifting when I was a kid, a gym where I'd do as many curls and stuff as fast as I could because I didn't want to beef up. You know, I didn't want to slow myself down. I wanted to retain speed, so that the working out I always did as a kid was a little different. You know, I used to be able to do an easy 60 push-ups every minute. Same with the sit-ups. I was trying to get as many in a minute as I could, and one a second's flying. But I actually beat those records in my prime.
Wait, you figured the fast twitch muscles give you the strength, and the slow twitch muscles give you endurance. It's good to get like a combination of both, I think.
Yep, absolutely.
But I mean, just a lot of us can't afford to go to the gym or go out and get dumbbells or whatever. And so that's why I was just saying it doesn't even have to be that. You can use what you have right in your home to.
Absolutely, Bonnie. And the best way to do it is to start off walking. Cross country walking is the best way to start.
Start off walking to your mailbox, then walk to the porch, walk back to your mailbox, then go to your neighbor's mailbox, walk to your mailbox, walk back to this. That's what I need to start doing. My 80-year-old neighbor said, told me to do that. He goes, that'll give you back your wind back. And he goes, also, when you're doing it and you start walking further, he goes, you won't want a cigarette.
Yeah. But it's easier for me. That's why I've been going down to the river or going to the farmer's market, something like that. It's easier for me to walk further because I'm enjoying it, and there's people to see, and it's good in more ways than just the walking.
Hey, Bonnie, sometimes Lidl, I think it has a decent price on like 10 or 20 pound dumbbells.
You can also just get a couple empty gallons of milk and fill it with water. You know, I mean,
yes,
you're not looking for a lot of weight.
Yep. And that's what I have tons of empty jugs, and I know to do that. You start, and that way you can increase the weight as you need to with just water.
Now you could use 5-gallon buckets, but then you would spill the water on yourself.
Jim, sometimes all we had was a stick and cinder blocks.
Good grief. Okay.
Actually, I use concrete blocks on my disc harrow to weigh the thing down, so it goes in the soil deeper.
Hmm.
And Bonnie,
I didn't mean to cut you off, Bonnie. I think I hit a lag here.
And like once in a while, you might see somebody having a yard sale that's got some weights for sale, or at a thrift store.
Amen, K9 man. Motivation. We all need to get motivated.
One of my favorite workouts to do with weights, and you don't need it to be weights, you can use the gallons for this, was to lift them straight out in front of me, like with straight elbows, not bent at all. Right out in front of me, I'm holding the weight. And then I fan out to where it's like I'm shaped like a crucifixion or something. So I go back and forth from straight out in front of me to the side. And it built up strength for being able to lift something, you know, right out in front of you. It's like it's a resistance training, but that did a lot for me as a kid.
You know what? I used to use my kids, and I know this sounds horrible, but like just sitting in a chair, and they would come up and sit on my feet, and I would start lifting my legs with them on them, or laying on the floor and lifting them up with the feet up off the floor. There's so many ways to do exercises that makes it fun for the kids and you.
Well, if you have grandchildren, carry them around.
There's a link for everybody.
Yeah.
Exercises you can do with a broom handle.
One thing I don't like is doing abdominal exercises. I hate them. My wife loves doing them. And I need
Which
them.
one?
The stuff for your stomach.
Oh.
Do ab twists where you twist back and forth, hold your weights up close to your chest, and just turn back and forth. I used to crunch in front of a TV when I was younger, lay there and just hold on to a weight in a sit-up position about halfway and try to hold it through a whole half-hour program.
Yeah, I still do crunches, but I just don't like abdominal exercises.
I tried to build my core strength. That's the one thing I wanted to work on the most was my core strength. And because I did that, I can sit there and tighten my stomach and loosen my stomach and do like exercises without even moving, just by tightening my stomach.
I was going to tell Bonnie, like you're saying, you got bad areas around there where you're at with some people you don't trust. That's where you walk to after you start getting to where you can walk good. That's when you want to start raining or running. You get up to that area and you yell at them and then take off running. It gives you incentive to run.
I have a pretty good, but I'm not. I'm okay where I'm at. I'm not worried. In fact, I think that my neighbors would be right there if anything.
Jerry Lee, I got a party ball at 57. Jerry said he got a six-pack at 65. I got a party ball.
Olympia bowl of beer. Did you guys ever get Olympia balls of beer down there?
I don't even know if they got Olympia here. You have some of these certain stores, you might find it.
Well, Chuck, I have a six-pack, but it's not from exercising.
I haven't seen a bottle of beer in 45 years or something. There used to be a big plastic nylon ball, like 20. I forget how much was in it. It was like 20 gallons. Not even. It was probably a 10-gallon ball of beer. Came in a square box.
Yeah, party balls. Yep, there was I think 5.5 gallons, 6 gallons, something like that.
One of those Mott's beer balls. I remember them, like from 40 years ago.
What'd you call it? Who was it that made them, Jim? What was the brand?
I think it was Mott's, M-O-T-S or M-O-T-T-S.
See, I never heard of that one.
Well, I found out, okay, Michigan and Wisconsin have beers you can't even get in Pennsylvania. Actually, my son's girlfriend is from Michigan, and they're going to come and visit this weekend. Beer is cheaper in Michigan and Wisconsin than it is in Pennsylvania by a lot.
Does she bring you Spotted Cow?
No.
Spotted Cow beer, you should try it.
Ronan, you're up here.
What's up, Ronan? No, people used to make giant bongs out of those empty beer balls. I remember seeing a lot of bongs back in the day.
Dancing is very good exercise. I dance with my granddaughter in the living room. How are you doing, Ronan?
I danced a minute ago when I heard them gunshots.
I mentioned.
I'm doing good. How's everybody doing?
Doing okay.
Pretty good. It's good to see you. Hear you.
Yeah, it's been a while. I've been busy around here. Been taking advantage of some of the nice days we've had.
Awesome.
Today was a beautiful day. I got the, you know, you paint the bottom part of the fruit tree plants, or the fruit trees, I mean, with this white type of paint. So I got that all taken care of. It's not really paint. It's some sort of application to keep the bugs off of it and stuff.
Yes, I've said.
Keeps the rot and the bugs out of the root.
Yeah, so I got everything. I cleaned up around all of my fruit trees and painted them all up. I planted some potatoes today. It's a good day. A lot of outside stuff, which is always good. Best way to stay healthy is get some sunlight, I think. Whatever you do.
Get out there barefoot in that grass for a while, too.
Well, I'm not
I
going
can't
barefoot
even
in my
smell
grass.
spring yet. You guys are lucky, man. I haven't even smelled spring yet.
Hey, Chuck, I'm going to have to take off. I got to get a shower. It's after midnight here.
All right, bud. Appreciate you coming up.
Hey, thanks for having me come up. I enjoyed talking to Carl and Bonnie. Because I thought I saw Bonnie was going to go live, and I guess she changed it when she saw you were going live tonight.
That was last night. My internet cut off
Oh, okay.
right when I was going to go live, and I've been having internet issues for almost the whole week now. Well, pretty much the whole week.
Okay, well, take care, everyone. Stay safe tomorrow.
See you later, bud.
See you, Jim. Good night.
Bye.
Later, Jim.
Yeah, late last night, my internet came on for a second, and I was all, okay, banking really quick. Look and see if there's anything in there.
I know your pain. I know your pain.
Yeah, and then just a little bit later, gone again. And
It gets me all the time. I'll go into somebody's live. I'll make one comment and chat, and my internet's gone. Then I feel like a dick. You know, it's like, okay, I missed everything everybody said for the next hour.
well, I'm gonna make a phone call tomorrow, and they're gonna hear some, because when this happened before, it was last month, I kept having problems with the internet, and I said, okay, do I get a credit for days without internet? And he said, let me look that up. And he said, you can get $1.87 discount, and you have to call this number and you have to go through this. And I said, it's not even worth it. Never mind. Well, this time for March, I'm going to tell them, okay, 10 days out of the month, I might have had internet. So now we're going to talk, because when my internet costs a little over $100 a month and I'm getting 10 days out of it, we got a problem.
You know, 4 years ago or so, when I started my shop in this little town here in Michigan, I was waiting for my business account internet hookup. And they made an appointment with me. It was like 2 weeks into the future. And I was like, you can't get there any quicker. They're like, nope, 2 weeks is as quick as we can get there. So I did 2 weeks. And I got stood up. And I contacted the company. They're like, well, we didn't even know there was an appointment. There was nobody scheduled for it. We don't have enough people for that region. I'm like, what are you talking about? You're selling me internet that you can't provide? They're like, well, we've had a lot of technical issues. We have limited staff. And I'm like, well, that sounds like the first thing I said. And, you know, I ended up getting some money back and stuff because I already started paying on it. And it was a big hassle, but it was because they were limited. They didn't have enough people supporting their little operation, for real.
Well, isn't Time Warner an internet provider?
Yeah,
I don't know about
I've
that. They
heard
may be one of the owners or something, but is that the name of the company?
It used to be Time Warner was around here, and they turned to Comcast. I don't know if it's still down there by you or not.
Okay,
Well,
Comcast. I've heard of it.
Like about 2 years ago, Time Warner trucks were all over the place running lines, but they keep saying that we are not in the service area. And I'm like, then why did they run lines all over the place around here?
Did they bury them in the poles, or?
No, they're up on the poles.
They had service technicians running like 6 counties. He told me the guy that finally showed up said, "Man, dude, this is my 6th county in the last 2 months or something that he's worked in."
Yeah, so it kind of makes me wonder, is it Is it something else other than the company's ability to handle?
I think it is. My internet keeps dropping. It's never done that before. I mean, it's started dropping in and out maybe a couple months ago, month and a half ago or something like that.
Yeah.
Where it hadn't done that before. It would just drop out and it'll kick back in.
Yeah, that's used to be. I mean, this was the best service you could get around here. It's Frontier, and never had any issues. I am gonna.
That's the company right there, buddy. That's the one I went through all that with, was Frontier.
Well, I am gonna ask for a new router and see if that does it. Also, because they had mentioned that last time, and I don't know how often they need to replace them, but.
Hey, Shifty.
Yeah, DSL routers. I always used to have issues, and I still now when I have issues, and they come out and we're checking and we don't see a problem. But I'm like, oh, you're going to send a truck? I said, you're going to find a problem when you get here, and it's probably your equipment. Might as well tell them to bring a router with them so they don't have to make me wait longer. I said, because I will be calling and you will be giving me free service.
Yeah, and that's, somebody asked me, oh, I bet you're going crazy without the internet. And I said, actually, no, I'm not, because I have so many other things to do. That's, I don't stay on the internet all day long, and so it's not really driving me crazy. The only time is if I can't sleep in the middle of the night. That's when I'm kind of like, okay, I really want somebody to talk to. And so that's when I look for the night owls.
Okay,
And-
I got to address this in chat. All right, Echo. If you lose internet, that's one thing. But just like if I was just to vanish, I'd be getting all kinds of inquiries. So if you do just lose your service, don't forget you get free Wi-Fi at places. You got to at least let us know what the heck happened.
Hey, Shift.
And so that's what I'm wondering too, because if I go into town, there's spots where you can go that has internet, like the library, or that you can use their Wi-Fi. So is that satellite? How come they still have service if I don't? And we even on Facebook, we'll contact each other. Is your service down? Is your service down? And so then if I see that there's more than, 5 people with their service down, then I know it's an all over issue pretty much, or it's not just me anyway.
Yeah, if you're using DSL, that's more of a narrow bandwidth.
Yeah, and then it's relying on old Ma Bell telephone line.
Yeah, if you have cable available, that'd be a better connection, I think. You'd have a little bit.
Yeah, we
more-
don't have cable around here.
Yeah.
Yeah, if there's still telephone lines, you don't even need to messages on that line still. Back in the day when I was a kid, I remembered you could take out of the 4 wires of a telephone line, it's like 3.5 volts. If you took the green one, I think it was the green and the blue, and you tapped it 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 4. You got a number by tapping it. You couldn't hear what was going on, so you could hook a speaker up to the other ones and hear somebody clicking that from another location.
Well, I don't want to spy on anybody.
No, that would be. All right, what I'm saying is the old phone lines, if you didn't have a phone, you could still dial out. What I'm saying is it's possible that you could still use those existing wires for communication. You wouldn't be using the internet anymore. You'd be using the old analog system. But I think that would still, I think he could still. He had the right stuff.
Yeah.
Is it weather related, the internet issues? Is it stormy where you are?
No.
Oh, my.
We don't get
That's
rain.
weird too, Ronan. Sometimes it seems like I get better at when the weather's crappy.
Once in a while we'll get rain, but not very often. The
All
last
four, I remember party lines. We had party lines when I was young. It was kind of like that, I guess. I remember having to get on the phone if you heard somebody talk, you had to just hang up. And even when you go to use the phone, you'd wait a minute to make sure nobody was on the line.
yeah, and you listen for that click if they're listening to you.
Here's one right here. It says a solar storm heading towards Earth may impact communication channels on Friday, say UAE experts. Solar flares can impact satellite, spacecraft operations, aviation, they explain.
Oh wow.
They also cranked CERN up a couple days ago. That could be screwing with everything too.
What time?
Frog?
I was gonna say, Ronan, you got a friend.
I know Frog from back in, I want to say like 2 or some time ago. I don't know. It's been years now. It seems like it hasn't been that long almost. But when you stop and think, it's like 3 years later, you know?
Yeah, it's been a while.
This is the longest apocalypse ever.
Well, it's nice that they're letting us get used to it. It's kind of like that slow, gradual getting used to it instead of just all of a sudden apocalypse.
Yeah, it's like a frog in the pot thing.
Yeah.
Every day is a new level of norm. Here's something for you, Frog.
I want one of those so bad. A little
pond, koi pond.
Yes. With the fish, and there's your hydroponics and everything. And enjoy the fish.
I watched the guy build one. He had 2 big tanks that the water started from and ended back into, and they were fish and had algae and stuff in it. And it all went through his hydroponic system in this greenhouse thing that he built.
Yeah.
Nora, I wasn't in the military. I'm sorry. Frog's just messing with you.
I was just going to stay quiet on that because I don't remember you mentioning any of that.
No.
K9 man, I agree. Sadly.
Wow, that reminded me of growing up with a police scanner in the house.
Yep. Always had one too. I don't miss it.
I really don't either. It's probably a good thing I don't have it.
It was stressful, especially when you have kids running around. And
Yeah, it freaked the kids out because they think everything's going on.
no, it'd freak me out because my kids would be out there driving and there's a wreck like every 30 minutes.
That's how you get an overprotective mother like I had.
I was. I am. I will admit it.
It was fucked up. I mean, you know, in the country, I was allowed to do whatever the hell I wanted. Then they took me to the city and told me to stay home all day. Like, that's going to work.
Well, I know. I've got one that thinks she can roam the streets at night and nobody's going to mess with her. And no.
Hey, I could do, you know, there was a program when I was a kid called Scared Straight. I'd be really good at scaring kids to stay straight. Make a good example in that.
Those words
I'm a good, bad example. Does that make sense?
Yep. No, I hear what you're saying. I remember that programmer. But like now in today's words, if you tell someone scared straight, that's like a
derogatory thing.
Yeah, I think they're taking like an LGBTQ aspect of it. You know what I mean?
Well, in that case, they could just kiss my ass, Ruin.
Well, I agree. I'm just saying that the way they change words and
yeah.
Yes.
I don't have much patience with that, Ruin.
It's horrible what they're doing. But then is it? Because everything constitutional says we need to learn the language. So maybe this breakdown of the language, turning it into poop, is going to make us learn the real language for the constitutional representing yourself in court and all of that.
yeah, I think kind of like what that meme or whatever Chuck just showed with government. That's what that word means: mind control, controlling the mind.
Yep.
Yep.
When we talk about like the state of Texas and the state of Ohio, you might as well be talking about the state of mind. It shouldn't be the state of Ohio. It's Ohio State. It's Texas State. It's not the state of Texas. That's the state of mind corporation they're trying to get you in.
Yeah, every state has two examples. They try to point it out, the real one and what the government wants you to call it.
Night, Double Lot.
Night, Double Lot. And hello, Lisa.
Night, Double Lot.
Night.
I'm going to mute. I have to put leftovers away.
Yeah, I did download those apps once, David. They took it right back off.
Really, Frog? They didn't have any silver at your local coin shop?
That's kind of telling.
Yeah, it's somebody. I was looking on Facebook Marketplace yesterday, and somebody was within 20 miles of me. They travel quite a bit, but I'm working over here in this city. If you want to meet up, get a hold of me, and I'll meet you there. I'm all around the place, and he was wanting to sell silver, like Liberties and stuff like that. The newer stuff, want $20 a piece for, and I'm like, yeah, good come. He'd be selling some bunk, but.
That sounds like a scam to me too, Chuck.
Yeah. Yep.
Especially those coins. If they're, I don't know. I've seen
Times
those.
like these that kind of thrive, man.
Yep. I don't know where it was, but I saw a picture of like a JM Bullion gold ounce bar, and it was like tore open. And you can see in the middle of it, it was just like some metal wrapped around some gold looking like substance. When I went to I took some gold to sell it, I don't know, a while back. They actually had an x-ray machine. They x-rayed my gold. It was kind of interesting. Turns out it was legit. I always buy it from JM Bullion directly usually. Well, that's the only place I've ever bought it from, but I'll sell it to whoever.
Good to see you, Conspiracy Music. And Nora, if I didn't say hello to you, or anybody else I didn't say hello to.
Yeah, I should see if Vicky wants to pick a few coins up over the weekend.
I keep waiting to see that price go up, but it just dances around, just under $25. It looks like.
He did rear his head, Echo. All of a sudden, he's back in. He's in the limelight again.
I got a guy over close to me that I can go get. That's why I didn't worry about what that guy said. I can go talk to this guy and I can get it from him for spot, whatever it is right then. He melts his own bars and ingots, plus he has coinage. He tests them on the spot and he'll show you what they are. And he tries to educate pawn shops around here because I had some 999. I was either triple or quadruple 9 fine out of Canada. The pawn shop tried to tell me it was fake. So I went over to see him because at first I went by there, I didn't see his car, and then I went back there and he was there. And I showed it to him and he goes, where'd you go? Well, what were you talking about? I said, I went over there to the pawn shop. He goes, you know better than take it over there anyway. But I said, well, I didn't see your car. So I brought the coins in and he looked at them and he goes, yeah, these are awesome. These are better than the ones we get here in the United States because there's an extra 9 fine in it. He goes, he had me call that lady, and that lady goes, well, I've never seen nothing like that. He goes, you test it? She goes, no, I'd seen the extra number, thought it was fake. And she said, no, matter of fact, since you've never seen it, it's probably better grade of silver than you got in there.
I already feel like I already profited from the silver thing because through the 80s and 90s working cash registers, you could hear it when people would hand you change, and you could hear the little kink in that handful of change that was different. And you could find, I found a lot of silver dimes and silver quarters that people just gave me in change. And, of course, I've got a quarter that goes to the till, and I keep that silver. I did that for years.
I had one of the guys tell me that if he goes to the bank, they won't sell him quarters. They have to keep them up for the washaterias and car washes and stuff like that. That they won't sometimes won't sell you a case of quarters or rolls of quarters or halves or whatever. And he's like, well, cut out the middleman. He goes, just bring you a handful of tens and hit a laundromat or a car wash. And he goes, unload their machine. He goes, then you don't have to tear it all open.
There was a lot of silver in the video games. You opened up the cash box to empty it out on one of those old arcade games from the early 80s, man. You would find silver quarters, and you'd find...
start pouring them and hear it.
Yeah, you can. It's a definite different sound that once you know it.
Yeah, I had an old man that would... when I was a kid, I was probably 13, 14 years old, a pool hall that had like 6 pool tables, a couple pinball machines, Coke machine, candy machine, and gum machine, stuff like that. And he'd have me go around and dump all the change. And he goes, I'll give you a couple bucks and buy you a sandwich and a drink when I go over and get one if you want to go do that for me while I'm busy doing this, watching everything. He goes, I can't watch the room and do that. I try to do it in the morning or night. So I go
back then. Sorry.
I'd go ahead and do it for him, and I'd pull any silver out I'd see, and he'd say, "That's what you want for your money." He goes, "To me, it's a quarter." He goes, "I'm not going to worry about it." But this was also the late 70s.
Yeah, see, even in the 80s and stuff, I remember a quarter being a silver quarter, 64 and earlier would be worth approximately 10 times its face value. So if you had a silver dime, you had a buck. It wasn't a whole lot. I know it's more now. I wonder what is the value of, let's say, a mercury dime
last
now.
count I had like 15 or 17 times.
Okay, so it almost doubled since back then.
Yeah. Hey, Andy.
So, Andy, Jack?
So you know how like they say the price of that stuff is suppressed, like the price of silver and gold is suppressed?
Yeah, especially silver. Silver should be, I think they say 60 or 70% of the price of gold. It's the rarity is just as bad. That's like diamonds. Diamonds are nothing. They're just a big racket that they say that makes them worthwhile. That's why they hide all the big ones.
Yeah.
Now, some 10, 15 years ago, I was doing eBay all the time back then. I would do what they call junk drawer lots. And there was a lot of people that would put silver in those lots. And there was just junk still lots being sold on eBay. And I remember seeing the prices fluctuate, whereas there was a couple years you could get it cheap, you know, and then 2 years later you could have been making a fortune off of it.
One guy was a jeweler. He told me it was a certain point. It was either before or after World War II that a lot of your stuff that was gold jewelry was plated. He said they'd use sterling silver to plate it.
Yeah,
they plate over sterling silver with the gold. And he said that's still valuable. And a lot of people, it's plated and they throw it away. And he's like, no, it's got silver in it.
Well, when it comes to costume jewelry, they got some from the 1920s and stuff they consider Art Deco era costume jewelry. And it doesn't have a scrap of anything real in it, but it's still valuable. If depending on who made, you know, what line it was, if it's like Egyptian motif or something, then it's worth something. It doesn't have to be real gold, silver, or nothing. It can be fake stones or whatever. It's still going to be worth something. So, you know, it just depends, really, when it comes to jewelry. People get money off of costume jewelry.
Yeah, I knew a guy that he did. He'd go to yard sales and them things were estate sales and stuff like that, and he'd buy out all that they after they had it checked, they'd have a bunch of it over there, and he'd ask them about it. He goes, yeah, it's junk. They already went through it. He goes, it's nothing. You ain't gonna find nothing valuable in it. He goes, I still like it. He goes, I collect it and trade it and sell it. And he said he'd buy big butter bowls and Tupperware bowls full of it from estate sales for a couple bucks. And he said some of that shit's $50, $100 for one ring, if you know what you're looking at.
Yeah, well, you know, I had some pieces that made me money because I got it in a junk lot. Go to an auction, you know, or you buy a whole box lot of shit and you find some what you think is fake jewelry in the bottom. Come to find out, it's, you know, the 1920s. And it'll make you a few $100.
Yep. That's what he'd do with it. He'd sell stuff anywhere from $1 or $2 to $100 stuff. He said his eBay stores, all he did was certain types of plates, weird antiques and jewelry.
I had a $20 bill that had the serial number. It was 1999 2000. And I sold it for $300.
Be on the lookout. There's dollars out there floating around that the serial numbers are different on each side. They're misprinted, like 2 different serial numbers. And
people were after the bills that had as many consecutive zeros as possible. I remember seeing those being sold on eBay. Whereas if a bill had 10 zeros in the serial number, it would be worth a lot of money.
Yeah, repeating numbers. That's a big one. The guy really liked, star notes. The guy really liked this one because I called it the Millennium Bill because it literally went from 1999 to 2000. It was on a $20 bill. I got it in circulation. There was an ink mark on it, you know. It wasn't like it was in super good condition or anything. But
go ahead. I'm sorry. I thought you were done.
Oh, no. I was just talking to the guy at the coin store about it, and I brought it up. He's like, I'd be interested in that. He's like, I'd give you, $350 for it. I was like, really? Okay. I kind of played it cool. Came back a few days later with the $20 bill.
Vicky, look online, Vicky. Look on MeWe. It's MEWE. Look, go to eBay. You can any of those. You can sell records separately, or you probably get more out of it separate if you wanted to deal with it.
Dang, I got a MeWe account. I haven't looked at that in a couple of years.
You could do pretty good on them, make that. And I got our Macari. Macari is another one that you could do household stuff. That's like millennial Gen Z eBay, but you can get pretty good deals on shit.
Nora hid some silver dollars on herself.
Yeah, I miss the old record dealers, Nora. I remember back in the early 80s with the record places where everybody went to get concert tickets. And
in 1981, a record store opened up in Lake Orion, Michigan. It was called, I think it was called Beats Me Records. And he just started off, and he had all mostly used records. And I went in there and spent $1,000 for $1 a record. He gave me the deal. He says, if you spend $1,000, you can have an album for every buck you spend. So, and I was doing DJing back then, so I sat there at the record shop all day long and listened to the important song that I needed off the albums as I bought. And for decades, I see this guy. He's like, "You'll always be my best customer, man." Even though people spent more money since, it was because it was when he first started off. He says that really helped him out.
oh, hell.
Good night, Shift.
Night Shift.
Good night, Chip.
Well, I'd love to see silver go through the roof. I'd be able to handle that, but I'm not holding my breath. I think a lot of this stuff comes down to when you bought it, what you got invested into it, that kind of stuff. I had a bunch of that crypto and I just didn't know what to do with it. And then the bullion sellers like online and stuff started taking crypto. So I'm like, finally I can turn this funny money number on a screen into something tangible.
Any kind of currency that's not a precious metal can lose its value in a heartbeat. And anything that's bad enough that paper money and our current coins are all worthless if the bottom falls out. But on top of that, the way I've seen all this, investing in whatever Bitcoin, any of this stuff, is you're susceptible first to like the power you need to be online. Then you're susceptible to the companies that are running the online services. Then you're susceptible to something like an EMP or some type of crisis to where the internet shut down, or so you lose access to those funds immediately, and there's nothing you can do about it. So at least with gold and silver or something you can trade, at least you got something in hand. I think like the worst time in the world to be investing in something that you'd have to rely on the internet.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I wasn't investing in it to rely on it. It was just kind of like a whim. I put in $100. I want to say like 5 or 6 years ago. I have more somewhere. I just don't know where that wallet is, but I kind of wrote that off. But 4 or 5 years ago, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna spend $100 at it, see what comes of it. Then it just like went through the roof. I was like, this is ridiculous. And I kept spending out of it. I kept buying gold and silver online through it. And then it finally just ran out. I think I have like $5 left somewhere in my wallet, but like it wasn't something, it was a gamble, right? Like I'm not much of a gambler. Instead of buying a lottery ticket or a scratch off or something, I said, I'll throw some money at crypto. And if it does great, awesome. If it completely flops, well, I'm not putting in that much to lose. Now it seems like it's a whole different ball game. Like now it's like a different animal altogether.
Yep. And I agree with Frog.
I put $20 in Bitcoin, and that was way back when it first went live. And I had a Hotmail account that my wallet was in, and Hotmail closed down and I didn't catch it in time, and I forgot all about it. A buddy of mine brought it up and we went to look, and he goes, no, we used Hotmail back then. And he goes, I can't find my wallet either. My Hotmail account's gone. I got a hold of them, and it's like, nothing we can do about it. You guys were, through emails, was told to get anything out of there important. You had your email, and because that's when Outlook and Gmail, and they got rid of it.
So I heard that real granite has a little bit of gold in it. Is that true?
Any kind of rock can have, but granite does.
I've never heard that about any of the granite.
It's got usually where there's granite, there's gold and copper.
It's like all them gold mines in West Texas and over into New Mexico and all that. You can look into watching some of the videos, and I'll tell you the trace rocks to look for and what other things will stand out.
There's a channel I've been watching for years. It's called Ask Jeff Williams, and he's a pretty good guy to watch for all that. He's got his own gold mine, did it the old way, you know.
Yeah. I've been seeing that the past couple of days, Amy at Jack. And that's anybody that gets their checks direct deposited, try to get it out as soon as you get it.
Well, I don't know what happened to mine, Sabrina. I'll have to look again, but I talked to them and they said they couldn't find it.
I didn't even know Hotmail still existed.
I can log into my Hotmail through Outlook. Like it's still, you go to like the Outlook website or whatever, and you just put in your Hotmail address instead of the Outlook one. I've done that in the past, but I don't know if something's changed since then, that they dumped all that old data or something.
That makes sense because the ones now are like through Google. So it would make sense that it would be through Outlook. Hi, Annie at Jack.
Man, Chuck, if you find that and you hit it big time, bro, don't forget this us little guys down here on the bottom.
Right.
You know?
I forget what it was, like 15 cents or something like that for each Bitcoin at the time, something like that. But we bought $20 worth, me and him. So it's $40 we spent. And then we're like, we're become millionaires, and we went back gaming.
Well, you are a millionaire. You just misplaced your money.
That's what I'm getting quiet now. I'm trying to see if I can go through it again.
I hope you do, brother. I'd be happy for you.
One morning, Chuck's going to wake up and remember that passcode.
Yeah, I figure out what it is. I figure out what it is, and you hear this, and then silence over here.
It goes blank.
And then you buy property down here by me, and
Well, if he passes that, I have to splash water on him.
I'm sure Wyatt would take good care of me.
Yeah, don't have a heart attack over it, Chuck. That'd be,
Do you know that's why I never did the scratch offs or any of that, the lottery. When it first came out, I bought a scratch off, and the first two numbers I scratched off were $10,000. And then I started scratching off the third one, and when I saw a 10, it was like, you know how you feel when you're almost in a wreck and you like, you go numb and all this other stuff. It was just like that. And I was like, this is not worth a heart attack. I am not playing this anymore. But it was only $10. It wasn't 10,000.
So this party store I worked at in Oxford, Michigan. My buddy worked there years before I did. And one night shift, it was like midnight till 8 in the morning. I go in there, and when I get there, it's like, just after his shift started, and he's already started scratching all the rolls he's got there behind the counter with him. I mean, there's like 10 rolls full of those scratch offs. And it was interesting. He scratched every ticket in that store in that 8-hour shift. And I watched the guy go hundreds of dollars in debt, hundreds of dollars ahead of the game. $2,000 in debt, $2,000 ahead of the game. He went through so many ups and downs in this roller coaster ride of 8 hours. Now, first off, it was illegal to do this for any clerk to do anything like this in the stores. And but he was, he's no longer with us anyways. But he sat there and I watched him go through fear and elation to where before the boss came in the next shift, he was like a couple $100 behind and happy about it. All right. It taught me, I've never bought a scratch off in my life because of what I saw. That was probably the early 80s. Could even have been the late 70s. It was a long time ago. And I won't do it. I don't buy, I won't gamble. I did one time. And I went to a casino one time in my life, walked in, made $250 and walked out. And the way I see it, I'm always $250 ahead of the game.
Well, that's why they don't allow the clerks to do it, because you can tell about when there's going to be a winning ticket, how many have sold and which ones are winners. And there's something about the numbers also. Well,
there's a rhythm. There definitely was a rhythm to it. But not on every one of the rolls. Some of the rolls are not like that. And you used to be able to see a code when you scratched them off. There'd be like a double D. That would be $10. EE, I think, was $5. There were codes that you started paying attention to the way the codes went. If you could keep track, like if people put their scratch offs after they were done in the ashtray or whatever before they left, you could kind of guess when it was coming. That was real too.
Yep.
And
what I want now, looking at that, it's sending me something, a code, maybe
that same guy would find winners that people would scratch off and leave in that big old ashtray, and he'd take a double take on them, after they threw them away, and he'd find winners every now and then people wouldn't catch.
Yep.
Can't you like mail the losers in, and like there's like a raffle to win, to be on like the their show or something? I know here in Ohio they have them on the back of the scratch offs, like you mail them into to their place or whatever, and there's like a raffle to be on their game show. I think it's a game show. I'm not 100% sure about that.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Or at least there could have been at one time.
Yep.
This is all different.
Life as a rich man, huh? Everything changes.
Well, you see any of Jack's comment? Derailment in Minnesota, evacuation order.
Yeah, that happened. I know you got a notification, Carl.
Oh, is this the same? I thought it was something new.
No, it's Cassie Echo's grandson and stepmom, close to there, and she said that. Regina, Ronan, do you know anything about that?
I heard something about that. There was like
I did too, but I can't remember it right now.
yes. Well, what I know of it, it was like some website or Twitter page or something put something out in regards to like trans people fight now or fight back or something weird like that. And I
Yes,
think
that's
they
right.
had a planned event on the 1st. However, that same website or whatever it was did take that down and said it was canceled due to some kind of threats or something.
Yeah, and I think because of what happened in Tennessee, that was part of the reasoning that they were believing the attack happened. And so I mean, we know that Christians are persecuted all the time, and it's just be alert, don't put yourself in a dangerous situation, but know that he's there with you. You're not alone.
Yeah, that's right.
Christians been persecuted.
Yeah. That's also April Fool's too. So, they're probably gay men or just trying to play on people's fears. And now with Trump being indicted, they're going to, play into that. And
yes.
I wish I had a computer right now because I'd look up the percentage of homosexuals in the United States.
It's 1%. Oh, you said homosexuals. I'm sorry. Trans is 1%.
Okay,
that sounds like a lot.
all of those. I would do all of those search queries. Get it? Queries?
I'm not saying a word. Oh my goodness.
Wait, did I say it out loud?
You're welcome, Nora. And that's the thing. We all have to keep our minds. I kept seeing you can't have fear, but the way that was being said was like you can't do this and you can't do that. It's like, don't tell me what I can't do. But it's more like we cannot let the fear take over that makes us what do you call it, unresponsive, where you're not able to take care of yourself or defend yourself or whatever you may need to do. Don't let it take control of you. That's it. Is just don't let the fear take control of you. You control it. Because it's normal to have a little bit of fear. I think that's a survival. It keeps you from walking off a cliff or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. You say the fear of the Lord is the beginning of all wisdom. So if you're going to fear anything,
Yeah, well, fear and concern are two different things too. Fear is a tool that all things use as a survival method. If all of a sudden is afraid of a shadow in the sky, it's for good reason. But to sit and worry and I saw this thing once that said literally like 95% of everything a person worries about never even happens.
it never comes to fruition. And every time you sit and worry like that, it takes so much time off of your life also. I've heard that too. And I kind of believe that, because when you sit and worry and it turns into panic or depression or whatever, then you're just harming yourself, really. You're not. And if you truly believe in the word and you've been saved, I mean, it's all in the Bible. It tells you you're okay. We just try to be better every day and do better. And
there's a choice to be made. You can sit there and dwell on everything that's bothering you and everything that went wrong, or you can sit there and think about what you're doing that's good for the moment and yourself and others. You can keep your mind busy with things and learning instead of dwelling in the past. There's a choice to be made.
And that's why I keep saying, just do something nice for somebody, even if it's a phone call, someone that you haven't spoke to in a while. It doesn't have to be family. It can be a friend. It can be. I talk to so many people a day, businesses and organizations and everything, and I'll get to talking to them. And I hear their whole life story, and it's like, well, I didn't expect that, but just a kind word sometimes is what a person needs to hear. They're probably hearing griping and complaining all day. Tomorrow I will be firm but nice when I make that phone call to the internet people, but it's like, kill them with kindness. There you go.
I named my rifle that.
Kindness.
Yep.
It's the same game. They played it for the last couple of years. First it was Antifa and those guys. It's the same people. Just,
It asked me where I emailed and questions to what it was about, and I remembered one place it might have been and put it in there, and it told me it'll take 24 hours after I filled out all that shit.
Good things come to those who wait, Chuck.
Yeah. I'm gonna shit all over I'm gonna be pissed, but I'll be happy, because when I first started looking into it, Bitcoin was still worth 60,000 each. Now I don't know what it is, but
we have to live life. We keep on living. And Echo, that
I don't know. I really want to see what a psychobilly does with that kind of money.
get me a psychobilly Cadillac. I'm gonna get that one Johnny Cash talked about.
Oh man.
Say, I see big trucks in the future.
I could
And
probably
shotgun.
get you the Longhorn for your
Yep. One of them Boss ones now. Hell, I'd get me a damn first year Chevy Blazer or something and build it.
How come I can see your yard looking like a circus?
looking like a circus.
I'd be like, where's the house? And why is there a weird hill over there? My boys call it a hobbit house. I talk about building a house underground out of all concrete and shit.
Iced tea water fountain.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, Ridge Runner. You need to get those thoughts out of your head. Pray right now. I don't know.
Yeah, they all bow and arrow, and you hear the Hunger Games music going.
I don't know. I think it's a secret fantasy going on there.
You need a chuck wagon.
Excuse me.
You do all your cooking right off the chuck wagon. I think that would just kick it.
Night, Lisa. Yeah, there's something to that, not being able to sleep at night. I was always, I mean, midnight was my latest. It was really, really rare. If I was talking to somebody, it was 2 a.m. Now it's whenever.
You're kidding me? Tell them the truth, Bonnie. We've been up talking till 7 in the morning
I
backstage.
was just gonna say, from 4 to 7, whatever.
And now Echo's trying to go to bed at 11. Yeah, right.
Well, Rich Runner, we need to invite you to the backstages. Yeah. I imagine he would be up at night if he just gets off work at midnight or whatever, and then having to eat and unwind.
Yeah, Vicky's laughing at me. I watch things on YouTube and then fall asleep anymore. She's watching her other stuff. I'll put it on YouTube videos, something really fucking, really boring, and fall asleep.
Well, it's weird because during the day, I'll be listening to something, and it's usually a news thing or something, I guess, and just conk. But I tried doing that at night. It doesn't work.
That's why I watch all that murder porn stuff.
Hey, Runner, better watch out. Sweet Tea's looking at you funny.
Hey, T-girl. James.
Runner, sometimes you're kind. Other times you're twisted as hell, but what do you think?
Well, Benjamin, that's not a bad thing. Sunrise. I used to love when I was driving the girls to school every morning, watching the sun come up while we were driving. We'd be, whoever wasn't driving would be taking pictures. It's beautiful.
Yeah. It'll be more in the daytime as soon as the weather breaks. But during the winter, with this, what happens is that the sun comes out and it warms right up. So I don't even need any heat or anything. It's more good anyway.
Yep. Nooner.
What's a beating? You're working on a beating.
She's making something out of beads.
Oh.
That's beading.
I thought maybe Red Runner was aggravating her. She's thinking about working up an ass beating for him.
No, that's with a P.
I know.
She's cannon whoop ass.
Yeah.
I think Runner would like it.
Yeah. That's my brother. He so wants to throw everything in my mother's house away. And she has some really cool stuff. And well, so do I. I have a lot of beads from making things with beads, the barefoot sandals and stuff like that. But she was making jewelry, and so I'm like, I'm going to have to get out there before my brother. And I don't know if he's planning this in May. He better not be, because he's coming in May, but those are things that I can do with the grandkids. Just sit and make stuff out of that. It's useful to give them something to do that's creating something that's he likes pain.
Told you you might like it.
I need to quit looking at chat.
I actually got a couple beads around here somewhere. They're little tiny skull beads made by Indians. I got a long time ago.
Oh, that would be cool. I've tried to find unique stuff like that, but I guess you have to get it online or something. I haven't been able to find them.
I found some magnetic beads too. I lost a bracelet in a Shell Creek. I found once. Had like 6 little magnetic beads that are almost an oblong hexagonal shape. They're a real strange shape.
Yeah.
I don't wear nothing. I've never wore jewelry. I can't. I mean, I've had nice watches, and I'll kill it. I'll break that sucker within a week. If I had a necklace of any type, it'll get yanked off my somehow something's gonna nab it off my neck. I destroy anything like that. Even rings, I bend them right up. So I don't ever do anything like that.
Yeah, I don't wear watches either. They always get wrong. The battery's dying them fast. It's just they never work out for me. If I have it on for more than like a few weeks, keeps running late. Like I don't know why they do that. I get them for gifts. I have a couple from like my brother-in-law that he gave me. He was like one of those watch guys. I don't know if he collect them or just like always picked them up and he'd fix them and stuff or put a different band on them. I don't know. It's just kind of his thing, I guess.
It's like white clothes. I remember my mom bought me white. I immediately thought, well, I can't wear those. I will turn t-shirt into colors in no time flat. It just seems counterproductive to wear any kind of light clothing. I'm not that type of person. I'll get grease on it.
White gloves. And I was gonna say what? Light clothes. Gotcha.
Yeah, any kind of like the minute I work on an engine or something, they're greasy. They're or I'll kneel down, look under something, got a spot on the light clothing. Just
well, bleach does miracles. I don't know. I like to see the white clothes hanging on the clothesline.
I like couch because it hides.
Chat's gone silly. Getting delusional.
Who? Me?
No, the chat.
Oh.
You haven't said much, Chuck.
I'm looking up picture of that Psychobilly Cadillac I was going to show y'all.
He's spending his money, Bonnie. He's busy.
I know. Don't even have it yet. Chuck, what happened to the property? And the things.
I'm just looking this up out of funny.
Chuck, my mom used to have a steer horn that was like 7.5 feet long. These steer horns would have been perfect on the front of a Cadillac. You know, with the leather bound center, with all the, upholstery tack, brass upholstery tacks and stuff. It'd have been perfect to put on a Caddy.
Hi, Pamela. That's my father. My father has a bunch of watches, and that's what I told my sister, that when he passes, that's all I want is one of his watches. And she just looked at me like I had grown a second head. I was all, that's what's going to remind me of my dad. Watch.
Nothing wrong with that.
Here y'all go. Y'all see the screen? I got 4 pictures of it, and one of them's a different one that they made, but
I'm coming over there.
it's got 3 lights, headlights on one side and one on the other. It's a 3-door Cadillac.
Is that a 57? What is it? 57? 50?
Yep. It's got 2-door on one side, 4-door on the other. Basically, let's see, one tail fin's off of one year and one's off another. See there? That's off of
wow.
What the world?
That's like a Billy
It's got a 59. It's got a 59 passenger fin.
And it's like a 73.
Wow. Somebody had a little time on their hands in part.
That's Johnny Cash's stuff that's in his. There's a picture of the other side. See, it's 2 years difference, 2 different doors. It's got 2 doors on this side, front and back, for a 4-door, and then the other side is.
Yeah, because the trim's not lining up.
Yeah, every year and every part on it's a different year.
It's got 3 headlights.
Yep.
That's crazy.
I have never seen that. That's badassery.
Let's see, where's another one y'all might like. Here's another version of it.
Wow.
Well, I really expected to see the horns on the front.
Here's a picture of him, and not sure who this is on there. I don't know if that's James Burton with him or who that is.
Wonder what that's got under the hood.
Oh, wow. Huh. You know what? Out at the LBJ Ranch, I mean, it's not a cool car like that, but he had a car that could drive and float on water. And so the Texas White House is it's on a river. And when those foreign, what are they called, dignitaries, whatever they're called, those, when they would come,
Sorry.
what were they called?
No, I was saying Grace put that song out there if you wanted to play it, or I don't want to put it on here. You know what? If it'll play.
But he would get them in that car and start just hauling butt down the road and jump into the river, and they would all be like, ah, and then they would start floating, and it was a big joke for him.
Larry, I knew a guy that had a couple amphi cars. He was restoring them up in Traverse City, Michigan.
Here y'all go.
Wait, you moved over to chat.
Steel factory in Michigan, and I didn't ever do this, but even back then I thought about it. We talked about it from time to time. Well, I left Kentucky back in '49 and went to Detroit working on assembly line. The first year they had me putting wheels on Cadillacs. Every day I'd watch them beauties roll by, and sometimes I'd hang my head and cry. Always wanted me one that was long and black. One day I devised myself a plan that should be the envy of most any man. I'd sneak it out of there in a lunchbox in my hand. Now getting caught meant getting fired, but I figured to have it all by the time I retired.
I can't believe you got away with that.
Yeah, and I'm surprised he wasn't wearing all black.
Yeah, Carl, that was an inside joke, me doing that. Now I can say I'm fucked up as a Psycho Billy Cadillac, huh?
You know, Chuck, I've heard that song. I never saw that video. I never saw that car. I appreciate you playing that one.
Different.
Hey, D.
Hey, D. Hey, Ragnar.
Hey, Ragnar. What's up, D?
No.
I can't believe you didn't get a copyright hit on the middle of that song.
I probably get one when I shut it down.
Yeah, one every 6 months. It shouldn't hurt you.
Where is that car set today, Chuck? Where is that? It's got to be a museum.
The Cash Museum.
Yeah. They all have their...
Hell, he had a barn somewhere that he had all pictures and different memorabilia and cars and motorcycle trucks. And
What? D? All right, D, you got to come up and tell us about this.
all right, D, what's wrong? Come on up.
Just because it's California. Echo.
Made me think about my dad. Last time I heard that was when he was still alive.
I've never heard it.
Old
Like,
man,
wondering.
old man was a truck driver. When he played music, that's about you hear stuff like that in Red Soul Vine, and only newer stuff he liked was when he first time he heard Phil Collins. He liked him.
It had to take a lot of work to put that car together like that.
Yeah, because ain't no bolt holes match.
Exactly.
That have two doors on one side and one on the other.
I've been sitting here trying to picture that ever since you first showed it. And it said in the song, it says he had a 72 engine. So that means he got a 500 in that thing?
Probably. All the way from what, 49 to 72. Or 500, 572. I can't remember when the 572, they took them away, but also 72 is in the middle of the pollution shit where they
Catalytic.
they retarded everything back on them, horsepower and all.
That's what I love about mine most. There isn't any vacuum, there's no electronic, no none of that.
Yeah. I remember when wasn't that a law that you had to have a catalytic converter?
Yeah, they had that pollution
California. It was
Smog.
California first. There were a whole bunch of cars that were modified in the factory for California use. And it started that way. And the next thing you know, the pollution control started going everywhere.
Yep. See, this isn't new. They've been doing it all along. Yeah, I don't know what was in that LTD, but it had
Ford
some
LTD.
power. I had a big old 4-door. It was like a hunter green. I don't know. I can't.
Weren't those 400s, Chuck? Didn't they call them 400s in the Ford Elite and the LTDs and stuff?
400 modified. They had 390s, 400s, 302s, 360s, 351 Windsor, 351 Cleveland, 351 modified.
Yeah.
And they
Well, I
had
can't remember
289.
what year it was.
The hood was longer than the whole car on that one, Bonnie.
Yes, I know. I don't know. And it was wide. Like my 4 kids could sit in the back seat, no problem.
I had a 1970 Ford branch wagon when I was a kid. It had that 390 in it. That's before they messed it all up with pollution control. That 390, that's so much haul ass.
Well, James, actually, when I clean a car out, I usually pull the seats because I'm an upholsterer. And I'll pull the seats and I'll pull the carpeting and I'll take it up to the car wash and spray that carpeting out like that.
We had you know where the back seat was, the rumble seat or whatever you want to call it, in the back of them wagons? All the seat stuff was taken out and the carpet was taken out. And I put a rubber plug thing in the bottom of it. And this guy had some of this Z-Bart rust proofing stuff. It was like a rubber sealant. Sprayed that whole back, and it had 2 flaps and a cooler. It was basically what that was. In the back, we just put beer in there and fill it full of ice, and it had a drain hole to let the water out.
Oh my goodness. I think Ragnar Adventures is the channel I went and checked out. And he was at a car show. Am I wrong, Ragnar? And there was a red GTO that looked like the one my friend had. His wasn't red. It was 2 colors, like green and black or blue and black or something like that. But it had the hood scoop on it, and like the one at the car show. I think it was Ragnar.
Yeah, I like the 67 Ragnar, but my favorite's the 65, 64, 65, whatever the first year was, 64 and a half. I don't remember. I don't know why. I just like that double headlight in the front.
Oh,
my dad was killed in a 67 GTO convertible. He was hit head on by a Cadillac in the other lane.
Oh my goodness. Sorry.
Broke every bone in his body. He lived for almost 2 days.
Yeah.
Crushed him.
Hey, that was real metal hitting.
Yeah, that flying came up over a hill in the wrong lane. He didn't even have time to react. It smashed back and into the woods and ditch. And yeah, I still have the license plate for that GTO. They're all crushed, mangled, but I keep them.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I didn't even think they had seat belts in them back then. I know my 67 Galaxy and my 67 Coronet I had, neither one of them had seat belts. I had them in the back, but somebody added them because the car was that metallic dark green on the outside, and it was lighter shade inside, and it had blue seat belts. They were just in the back, and they were strap seat belts that you could adjust by pulling the thing in and out of there where it lock it in place. I guess it was just so they can hold car seats.
Yeah. Lap belts.
Yep.
And I thought they all had lap belts back then, but maybe not.
I don't think they became
I got-
until last like 69 or 70.
I got an extra set of Mopar lap belts from this, but they're black. Did you know? All right, again, doing upholstery all these years, I could take any of the old seat belts and have two people or one person hold tension on it. In other words, you got the seat belt taken out of the car, but you click it together where you would sitting in the seat. And if you hold tension on that belt, I can slap the back of all those old buckles and they come right open. Did you know that?
Just because it's spring loaded and it bounces them open.
Yep.
That's all it was. The catch had a spring, and where you open them, you lifted the front part and it pushed the spring in, which released it, or you stuck your finger in the little hole. Yeah, I had a 62 Bel Air, and it only had two seats in it, and there was two buckets in the front. The console and the back seats were missing. The guy was having them redone and ran out of money, and the guy threw his stuff in the damn dumpster. I ended up buying a car from Vicky, saying she's pregnant with our first one, and she thought I was crazy, told me to take it back. I wish I'd give anything to have that car now.
I was going to say, I can't believe you got rid of that. I always wanted a Bel Air.
And it had a 409 in it too, and that was a rare car.
Yep.
I got a model here, like
I like the old Nova too. You just saw Benjamin's comment.
no, I saw Richard.
No, you saw Richard. Never mind.
That's the reason you go quiet so often, is I was reading chat.
Yes.
Yeah, Ragnar, I'd like to get my hands on any of that old ROPO stuff with them GTOs back then and have it with a build sheet. That Bel Air I had, it didn't even have a radio spot cut out in it. It had the little plug things, and it had two vent louvers on the side, and it had a heater, hot and cold, no air condition, and it had you could either blow air on the dash or on the floor for the heater.
Radio delete.
Yeah, it was nothing special about it. I think the only thing he said it was a special order was, instead of a bench seat, he had the bucket seats in the console put in it, where that was another thing was missing was the build sheet. The guy threw that away with the other shit, and I was like, I'd rather have the build sheet and the seats. At least you can replace that in the console. You can't replace a build sheet.
Yep.
That's how my truck is. It doesn't have a radio. It's got the dash, the plastic dash piece has a place where you can cut it out if you wanted to put one in it. But I always put the radio under the dash or up above where nobody can see it. Just got me a new nice radio. Now I'm on the hunt for some speakers and stuff. Eventually, Chuck, what I'd like to do is have a nice amp and have exterior speakers on that truck as well as interior, where I could be camped at a campground or something and have my tunes ready to go.
My 67 Coronet had an 8-track in a radio. It was FM tuner. It was a Pioneer, and it was about the size of a VCR, and it bolted under the dash. And the guy had a thing that went into the 8-track thing that he gave me with it. He could put cassettes in, and I had this in the late 80s, early 90s, and underneath that, I had a CD player wired into it, so I could play 8 tracks, cassettes, and CDs in there off that. That thing was like 100 watts per channel, but it was big. It was like I said, like a VCR under the dash. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, I do. I remember those, and I remember the limousines having record players that folded out of the back of the seats.
It had a little like joystick thing to go like front and rear, left and right.
Well, I've never got to be in a limousine.
Well, it wasn't a limo, but that's probably what it came out of. Unless somebody ordered it for that Cornet when it was new.
Had the first air conditioning. I have no idea. That's why I like the pickup trucks, because they had the wing windows.
Little triangle windows.
Yes.
I would have to guess the first air conditioning happened in the 50s.
50s?
Yeah, I would say the first. Yeah, probably at least commercially available. There could have been some Ford Model T that he did some, personal little rig. Did you ever, Ford and Edison, all of them, they made some of the first campers. They went all over the country, roading it.
Oh, Andy Jack, I can't remember, but it was a thing that you put on the passenger side in the window, and it had like a tunnel ram in the front, and the air forced into it, and it had water, and the water would cool the air off and blow it through the crack in the passenger window into the cab of the vehicle that worked as air conditioning. Unless you're talking about actual Freon filled air conditioning, but yeah, like James said, like 40s and 50s, and it was that thing that hung in a window.
I never saw anything like that.
It looked weird.
I've ended up in auction lots, got those canvas bags that the service station used to issue to you, and you'd fill it with water hanging on the outside of your vehicle when you went through the deserts, and it would, condensate and keep it cold and cool. Ever seen those?
No. I haven't ever been to a desert either. No desire to go to a desert.
Yeah, they're like little canteen pouches, but they were like a mail pouch. That's what they looked like a canvas mail pouch, and you'd hang it on the outside of your vehicle while you were driving, and the air and stuff would, keep your water cool. But you had to turn it in on the other side of the desert. You'd have to turn it into the other service station. They issued them to you. I imagine some people own their own, but
I don't think I had an air-conditioned vehicle until, oh my goodness, early 80s, mid 80s, somewhere around there maybe.
That's what I like about my truck. These 70s military Dodges, they've got crank windows. There's no radio, there's no power steering, there's no pollution control, no vacuum, no electronic ignition. It's there's nothing fancy on these things at all. If something breaks, you can see it. You fix it yourself. You don't even have to fight to do it. It's an easy fix. The simpler, the better. That's the way I see it.
It took me forever to start driving an automatic and getting something without the crank windows, because my biggest fear was going off a bridge and not being able to open that window.
safety glass is made to break at a certain pressure. As long as you have something that you can hit the window with, they'll shatter and break right out of your way.
Mm-hmm. Now I have one of those. Uh-oh.
I'm grabbing these air conditioners. I didn't know about the Packard, but I knew about these. Let me.
My phone's overheating. Y'all lose me.
Uh-oh.
I'll be back.
All right.
But it's not. I unplugged it. Now if the battery just stays up, we're okay.
Here y'all go. Here's these air conditioners. If I can put them up with the. Here's one of them. Come on.
You know, in fact, I remember installing an air conditioner like it went under the dashboard.
Yeah, those are another one. Here, see how this one is?
What the heck?
That hung in the window. They're called a swamp cooler air conditioner. This is like in the 40s or 50s, and it hang off that window. You put water in it, and that front end of the opening, the air would catch in that funnel and force air into it, and through it had water fins in there, and it push cooled water from that, or cooled air from the water into the vehicle.
I have never seen anything like that.
I could just imagine that thing. I could just imagine that sounding like as you're going down the road.
Right?
And here's
like a rocket.
My in-laws had a swamp cooler in the house, but I've never seen one attached to the car like that. Huh.
And here's another type. It's even weirder looking. Well, I guess they're both weird looking, but
Hey, be happy.
Uh-oh.
Positive girl.
Uh-oh.
Be happy.
I did it. Nope.
Now I've seen stuff like that put in tractors, in cabs, tractors and stuff.
that's electric swamp cooler. But the other one was all you just put water in the
How do I
thing.
get up there?
Hey, be happy.
Is this from today? No. Okay. Go back to.
Oh, we lost Bonnie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She knew it was coming.
Sounded like it. What do you think that swamp cooler did for your gas mileage, Chuck?
It probably put a little air drag, but it didn't have the motor. It just it didn't run off the engine or nothing. The other one, I think it was just electrical water in it. That second one I showed, and all it did.
I have this thing disconnected right now, but I have a rare 12-volt diesel personnel heater, and this thing is like a rock. All right, but it runs off the same fuel tank as the vehicle does. So it's running on gasoline. It pumps the gasoline up into this heater inside the back of the truck, and when it goes on, it goes. All right, like one of those torpedo heaters, and you're right off your freaking gas tank. I mean, I got it working and it worked, but I still trust this thing. I really do.
Damn. Here's your Dodge truck, Carl. And everybody else out there. I don't like Dodge.
Mine is a 1977 M886. I've had three now. I've had one going on over 25 years now. I've had one.
Dang.
Mine won't do that. Mine won't do that.
What's wrong with Dodge? I love that. I want to ride. Used to be that's all my mother would get was Chrysler or Dodge.
Yeah, I had a 63 Chevy short wheelbase that had a 383 stroker engine, a 4-speed Muncie Rock Crusher, and I had them old, big, fat, wide sand tires. And that son of a bitch, I made so much money off that jumping over 12 packs. I could dump the clutch and jump a 12 pack with the front wheels.
I can't do that, but I've pulled barns and silos and giant trees down. I've because of the extra weight, they actually lengthened the frame on the M886 one. So they took a regular Dodge truck off the line in '77. They added a 1.5 feet to the frame, put Dana 60 axles underneath of it, full-time four-wheel drive, and that box on the back makes it heavier than any Cadillac ever made. So it out-pulls almost anything. I've even pulled against the monster trucks and tractors and stuff. I'll make a tractor do a wheelie real fast, you know. But they are.
That damn truck I had 2 Holley 850s. No, it was 2 Holley, the large Carters. And that's something.
See if you can.
It pulls so much damn gas that you could hear the vent sucking air when you floorboard it.
See if you can find a video of an M886. You should be able to find it just like that because the only nomenclature I know of that.
NA86.
M886. Mine was a radio truck, not the ambulance, but it's the same body style.
There's the ambulance.
It's the same thing, basically. It's just made up as an ambulance. It's full-time four-wheel drive, man. It's there's no lockouts on it or nothing like that, so you can't really go too fast. It'll do 70 on the highway, but you can hear things going, woo, you know?
Yeah, they ain't supposed to go that fast.
No, but it'll get me and everything I want to carry wherever I want to go.
There you go.
Okay, when I left, did you say you were making money from jumping things?
Yeah, jumping over 12 packs of beer with a truck.
I never got
Those
money from
Humvee
that.
wheels. Those Humvee wheels will go right on them too.
Yeah, I'd put the beer in front of the truck, in front of the front wheels, dump the clutch. There'd be 12 pack on each side. I'd win the beer and $100 every time I did it.
I was in the wrong part.
That damn truck would haul ass. It'd pass everything but a gas station.
Yeah.
Funny though, Chuck. I know people that have. I know about 70 people that have that truck, and I don't know that truck.
What, that one there?
Yeah, that's one I haven't seen before.
I looked for one without the ambulance markings. I got it. It's on. I put the M8 and then looked at the pictures, and it was. Let's see.
I put miniature sliding glass windows in the size of mine. See that spotlight on the front above the windscreen? That's what I was talking about. If somebody bites me, I can blind them and I can follow them. It's great to be able to spot deer at 55 miles an hour.
Huh.
Where that's mounted, because that spotlight's mounted above like that, it reflects off the windscreen like a cop light does, you know.
Is that windscreen actually inside where you can use that space, or is it just?
That's what I was telling you that you would love about my truck, because you can stand right up in the driver's seat and walk into the back. You'd love it, dude. You'd have so much headroom, you wouldn't know how to act.
Yeah, everything I get in, even the truck I got out there, if I hit a big dip in the road, if I ain't got my seatbelt on, I smash my head into the ceiling.
Oh, no, there's room enough that I keep those military 5-gallon water jugs go right above the door in the top. That's that tall. You have to bend down a little bit to walk into the back, but you sitting in the driver passenger seat, your head could never touch the ceiling.
Unless you're rolling, huh?
Well, yeah, right. Yeah. Well, I guess if you hit the right bump, I don't know about you, but I've been 4-wheel with people and it bumps so hard it throws you into the roof of the truck.
My seat in my truck is all the way down. I think it's all the way back, and I got to lean back a little bit just so my head don't touch that. And it's got a damn moon roof in it, which I hate. So that brings the headliner down a little bit, but I can barely slide my hand between my head and the roof in there when I'm sitting in it.
Well, the inside of that wind, what do they call those on a big truck? It's a windbreak, I guess they call it. They mold it. They cut the roof off the pickup and the back off of the cab. So they rivet and weld pieces in to create that windjammer above your head. And there was a fiberglass console on the inside of mine that only allowed 2 little cupboards. All right, that's all it gave you, with 2 little cupboards of space, and it was 100 pounds of fiberglass. So I took that sucker out of mine and put down tie down latches and stuff and sealed it up better than they normally are. So I've got cargo space in the corners of all that above your head. I can put, a fire extinguisher up in one mounted to it. It's just less space, more cargo. Less weight and more cargo when they took that out.
I'm talking to Chad.
Eka said that she had to pulley start. Had to start a tractor with the pulley once. Pooped me out. Oh my God, Echo, I'd really start. Be happy. I'd be happy. And Annie Atjack posted a link for Carl before Carl said it.
Oh, M886, yep.
They're colluding. There's collusion amongst them.
I got pictures of a bunch of these trucks. When I had the property, I was working on a little fleet of things. I had a bunch of trailers and all of it.
Chad's starting an insurrection.
Hey, dude. Quit reading the mind, Annie Jack. You won't like it. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Was it
I'm
the
gonna
guy from
practice
Florida?
that.
Yep, that's just saying it's.
I'm gonna practice that laugh. Drive everybody crazy.
If you heard somebody knock at your door and then you heard that laugh, would you open the door?
No.
I got the shotgun. You kidding? They'd hear.
It's to be like, yeah, now this is funny.
Chat unionizing.
Send in the scabs.
Yeah, I was telling Vicky I want to get an old truck like the one I'm talking about, and I want to find an old 327, stick in an old GMC or Chevy, make sure it's got a standard, and then build a thing out there to park it on that. When I want to take off, if something happens, at least I got that little bit of rolling. Maybe it'll kick start it where I don't have to push it.
Yes.
You talking like a C series or a square body?
Huh?
You talking C series or a square body?
Probably C back in the. I want a 67 short bed, but 67 small window. But that I might as well say, well, they're harder to come up with now than a 57 Chevy Bel Air. But I never liked 57 anyway. I always liked 55 or 56.
Oh, I thought you were going.
Now I'm talking truck, the C10 out of 67, but that's the 67.
Okay.
Really the 67 to 72 C10 are the new 57 Chevys. Everybody's getting them and got them, and you can find them a 57 Chevy easier than you can one of those.
Around here, you can pay 150,000, something like that. Around here, you're going to pay like crazy for old vehicles like that.
Find them like that, but I'd have to go to Arizona or Nevada or something to ride out in the country. And they say 9 times out of 10 you can't get a title, but I know you can get go through Vermont and get a title on anything. You send them the serial number, they'll do a background. If it doesn't show anything active in a while, they'll go and issue a title for it.
What? A C10 with a 455?
Yeah,
Isn't
that's
that
an Oldsmobile model.
Oh.
Buick Oldsmobile had 455. Chevy had 454.
Yep. I had a 455 Rocket in my 71 Riviera.
But isn't a C10 one of those mini trucks?
No, that's full size. Chevrolet Silverado and all that. That was what they called them before Silverado.
Oh, okay.
And then C10 still followed it all the way through square body, and then it stopped at what, 89, 87, 87.
Something like that.
I think 91 went to square body Blazer, but that was last year.
I had a 75 Silverado with the LS6 454 4-barrel, came stock with headers. It was quite a truck. I mean, you could sit there in a parking lot and just floor it without even touching the brakes, and it would just burn your back tires off.
I couldn't stand those. What'd you say you had?
It was a 1975 Silverado, but it was factory made to pull a Holiday Rambler camper package. So it had a hopped up factory motor, and it was
RV cam and all that for horsepower, for torque.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I misunderstood you.
It was a beast.
I don't know if it's still there, but I know somebody's got a shed in their backyard. It's got I think it's a 67 Corvette 427. I can't remember what LS number that one was, but it's 427 still sitting there with all the dressing on it that the Corvette had with it. John pulled it out of the Corvette that was flipped when they were kids, and they set it in the floor, and he never did anything with it. And it's just still sitting there.
Huh.
I asked him, he goes, it'll either turn to dust, or he goes, I'll build it one day. He goes, I'm not giving it away or selling it to nobody. He goes, I'd give it away before I'd sell it. I'm like, well, give it to me.
Night, Becky.
He goes, if you put it in somebody will steal it just for the motor.
An S10. That was the little mini truck.
Yeah, S10 was.
Yep.
My friend had one.
I bought one of those. A guy hit a deer, wrecked the front end of it. I bought an 89. I paid $500 for it. I put a 91 front clip on it. Drove it for like a year or something, and then sold it for $20. And the guy loved it. It's funny how a camo pattern can sell a truck. That's what
Yeah. I forget what year it was, but a Suzuki with the same body as the S10. buddy of mine's dad had one, and it wasn't a spot on that truck that didn't have dents in it. He got to where he couldn't see good, and mailboxes, signs, fence posts. It only had like 20,000 miles on it. It looked like somebody went around it with a sledgehammer.
That's my mother's. It's a 22, and oh my goodness.
You'd think she hung out in the bars. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. And then she'll say, somebody else did that. Somebody must have hit me while I was parked in a parking lot. Because she's got scrapes all down one side. And then, well, the front one she admitted that's got the pole print, that was when the guy was jogging in the little shorts.
My mom got a lot of garage doors and a lot of our mailboxes. After she started having those strokes, she refused to quit driving. She was able to drive for a couple of years, but then one year I replaced the mailbox. Or I didn't really have to replace the whole thing, but I had to fix it like a dozen times. And she hit the garage door opener and think it was opening, and then tried to drive in when it was still closed. So I replaced a bunch of panels on her garage door. Finally, one time she's like, just gave me the keys and said she was done. She hit the garage door again. This time, ripped the whole thing right out of the house. It was.
What is your shotgun over there?
I picked it up over here and moved it.
I got good at fixing the garage doors there for a while.
Well, see, I'm stubborn, and I like to drive, but with my eyes, like being out of the vitamin A for a week, I can tell that there's, so if I feel like I'm going to be a danger to someone else on the road, I won't drive.
That's probably where she came to in her mind.
Well, I wish my mother would get to that point, because she is. She only uses the mirror. She will not turn her head.
She ain't told you come get the truck yet, Bonnie?
No. She won't.
Well, what follows after that is a whole lot of chauffeuring.
Yes.
or running for things. There was a point in time where it's like, I'll go get it.
Yeah, and we've been trying to do the store runs and doctor's appointments, but she'll just get a wild hair. They want to go out to eat, and they'll just take off and go.
Yeah. She'd do that. Nobody'd find her laying down by the garden or something for 2 hours.
Yeah, that happened to my grandmother.
Well, hell, y'all, I've been on here 3 hours.
Dang.
I'm ready. Thank y'all for showing up. Appreciate y'all hanging out and coming up, and thank y'all for watching. I'll let y'all say goodbye or whatever.
Okay.
Y'all have a good night.
Good night,
no
everybody.
fear. We can make it through whatever they throw at us.
Good night, y'all. Much love.
Love y'all.
Y'all have a blessed night.